A megalomaniac is someone who's obsessed with their own power over other people. An egomaniac is someone who's obsessed with their own ego and self-view. Other people call that narcissism, and I'd agree. So, what's with the ominous introduction? Well, I'm here to explain it. And if you haven't gathered it from the title, I'm going to be talking about egoism and megalomaniasm. That's not a word. Blaff. Hello, everyone. My name is Space. And as you can tell from that really shit intro, I will be talking about egomaniacs and megalomaniacs and how they happen, how they spark up to begin with. So, everyone has, their own self-image at all times in their heart, and they all have everyone has their own views and whatnot, and things that they believe in, and to a certain extent, that's fine. Now, when we get into troubling territory, when people begin to become obsessed with those things, when they obsess over the power that they have, or obsess over the fact that their own self-image is getting higher and higher, that's when we start getting into the territories of egomaniac, narcissist, megalomaniac, and other words to describe people who are, in essence, what humanity views as bad. To become like this, it's simple. Become really good at something, have a lot of power over people in that something, and then let it fester and grow. And then, boom, you're a fucking megalomaniac, egomaniac, narcissistic, egotistical, whatever. It's easy. It's extremely easy. Anyone can do it. It can happen to literally anyone. And it's only viewed as bad because that's a negative thing, to be so obsessed with your own ego. And I'm not here to argue that that might be a good thing or that's not, the end of the world, because although it isn't, it's not my place to say whether it's good or bad. I am not the arbiter of correctness. If I upload the other video I recorded, which is 22 minutes, I ended off the video with who defines good and evil? What separates the good from the bad? And to answer that question with what I think is a suitable answer is nothing. Nothing separates good from bad. Nothing separates good from evil. Nothing separates it, and that's that. It's a moral compass that everyone has, that some things are bad and some things are good. Everyone views unconsensual sex as bad, and it is. Taking someone without their consent is a horrible thing. People view murder as bad, but people also make exceptions for murder. If you've been wronged by somebody, if someone took someone else from you and you want to get it back in blood, if you want to get your fucking get back or something like that. War, people, look less down upon murdering political individuals because they go against what you believe in certain scenarios. Killing terrorists. People make exceptions for murder all the time. So is murder bad or is murder good? That's my question on that. But moving back into the main topic, being an egomaniac, getting a huge ego, becoming a megalomaniac, obsessing over your own power, is that really hard to believe a human is capable of? Is that hard to believe that it could be yourself one day? Because I'm telling you right now, it might have happened at one point or it might happen in the future. It's happened to me. It's happened to some of my friends. It's happened to people I know. It's a drug. It's addictive. Your own self-image is an addictive thing when you view yourself in good lighting, in goodness. I'm stammering, mumbling, fucking up my words. When you view yourself in a good light, it becomes addicting. It becomes so happy. And then you crash and fucking burn and you get depressed. And it can happen to anyone. The people who are able to keep their egos that high, I honestly commend them for not thinking that they're a piece of shit every now and then. But it is what it is. It's just a thing that can happen to all people. It's not hard to believe. I map it out easily. Get good at something, view yourself in a very high light, have power over people, and boom, you're an egomaniac. You're a megalomaniac. It's that easy. And again, it's only viewed as bad because, well, those are negative things to people. It's negative connotations. So, in reality, do you really think of it as a bad thing because it's truly a bad thing, or because the general populace has conceded that, hey, that's bad, you shouldn't be like that? And of course, I'm not going to go against the grain right now. I do think that being an egomaniac and being a megalomaniac is a really dickhead thing. It's selfish, but being selfish is good in the eyes of some people. So, is being selfish bad? Is self-preservation a bad thing? Or is it a good thing? Some people view that, if you would say, okay, let me come up with a scenario before stammering on. Say there is a burning car. There's a burning car, there's a kid in the car, and then there's your work. And it's a hard copy of your work. It's not digitalized. That's the only copy of your work, and you cannot replicate it. What would you do? Would you save the kid, or would you save your work, which can possibly go on to save more people or progress certain fields of study like math, science, English, which can rewire how people view certain things? Would you save your work or save the kid? It's a moral dilemma. It's like, would you let a train run over 5 people or 1 person? It is a moral dilemma. Some people say that they'd rather, risk their work, and some people say that they would take the fault of, letting the kid die. The truth is, people are going to be selfish and say that they're going to save their work, and more times than not, maybe not in public, maybe not in front of other people because they're afraid of being judged, but at the end of the day, everyone has those thoughts. Everyone thinks at the end of the day, what if I save my work instead? What if I don't save that kid? What if I let those people die to preserve my own self-worth and my own work and my own image? People have those thoughts because those thoughts are human. So why are they looked down upon so much? Just like intrusive thoughts. That's a good question that I'm going to write down somewhere later. Why is self-preservation viewed as bad when it comes in the context with other people? One reason for this I might think of is the perception of public opinion. If you go around saying you saved some very maybe tangible work instead of saving a person, some people might view you as bad. People have made jokes about me caring about music more than actual people, and I've agreed, because sometimes it's true, I do care about music more than some people. But if I said that outside of a joking manner in public, people would give me a very sad and sorrow look. But is that a product of egoism? Is that a product of me being an egomaniac and being obsessed with the fact that I am objectively a good producer? Or am I being a human who cares about self-preservation and preservation of their own work? Again, I'm not trying to argue whether being an egomaniac or being egotistical is a good or bad thing. Not at all. But I do want to ask the question, to what extent is it indeed bad, and what are the exceptions? Because at the end of the day, anyone can end up in a scenario where they are a fucking egomaniac, megalomaniac, for, not wanting to go against YouTube's terms of service and talk about things like, well, let me just end my thought there. You can probably get the image of a certain small mustached reject art student dictator. And no, I'm not trying to say everyone can become the fucking dictator of Germany and start a mass extinction based on their own selfish thoughts. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying anyone can end up in a position where they think that their opinion is the all outright correct opinion, the only opinion that truly matters. And to a certain extent, it's true. You're only aware of your own mind. You're only aware of your own thoughts, your own moral compass, your own right from wrong. Because in reality, you're the only person who exists to yourself. You only know your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own pain, your own experiences. So who's to say that what's really right and what's really wrong? Who's to truly say it? And again, I'm not here to argue or debate which one's good or which one's bad, who's really in the correct there. Not at all. I'm just trying to get an answer. What really is right from wrong? What really is good and bad? What truly does separate them, aside from the fact that I said nothing not too long ago? Because the only thing that separates good from bad is the concept of public opinion and public looking. Things that seem morally wrong, but who came up with the moral standards we have today? Because no less than 400 years ago, slavery was viewed as a morally good thing. It was legal. It still is legalized in the U.S. Constitution under the form of the prison system. So is it really a bad thing? Or is it just something that we can't do publicly unless it's for a punishment? And that's where we come down a slippery slope. And I know this does not relate to egoism or being a megalomaniac anymore, but it does in a way, because it will all come back to the fact, is being an egomaniac good or is it bad? And of course, like I keep reiterating, and I'm not trying to convince you or myself if it's good or bad, because it's bad to our moral understanding. But if you give someone a warped enough opinion, they might view the opposite of us. Some people may think that we're the weirdos and we're in the wrong. Some people have mental illnesses where they view everything the opposite. They view that everyone else is in the wrong and they're in the right, and only them. Do we view them as bad people? Do we pin the label of being an egomaniac onto them, or do we call them mentally ill like they actually are? It's a slippery slope of what's truly an exception and what wasn't. But should we accept that people are like that at all? That's another question that I want to answer. Want answered. It's just a volley of questions that desire answers so badly, but at the end of the day, the answer is already within us, and most people will say no. Like the moral dilemma I presented earlier. Will you save your work or will you save the kid? Most people in public will say the kid, because it is viewed as the morally correct thing to do. But they will deep down feel a wrench in their stomach because they want to save their work. They want to preserve themselves more than another human life. Is that good or bad? And I'm going to end off there. That's where I'm going to end off for today. Is being an egomaniac to an extent a good thing or a bad thing? Is viewing your ego in a high lighting good or bad? To what extent is self-preservation the good or bad thing to do? And that's where I'm going to end it off. I've been Space, everyone. Thank you all for listening. Have an amazing day, night, afternoon, meal. If you're in the bathroom watching this while you're taking a fat shit, or if you are watching this while cleaning, driving, or just to pass the time, having an amazing time doing it, especially if you're driving. That shit is probably stressful. But yeah, I've been Space. Thank you all for watching again, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.